Hello everyone, and welcome to another tutorial video on the Tournament Pairing Program software version. In this segment I'm going to be talking about scorecards and reports, showing you a little bit of their editing and customization features. As you can see, I have my Tournament Pairing Program open and I'm already in an event. The event does have pairings for round 1 already set, so we will be able to run scorecards for round 1. Let's go into that scorecard header at the top, choose scorecards. One thing to point out, there's a player/card drop down. You can see I have individual, pairing group, and blank scorecards. Depending on the item we select, individual right now, you will have a slightly different list of available scorecards. Anything with a blue little icon next to it is a standard scorecard that is automatically issued to you when you install your tournament pairing program, and you can't delete that card, or in the case of the reports, you can't delete that report. Anything with a red notebook icon indicates that it's a customized card that we can delete or edit further for our use. It's a personalized card, and as you can see I have quite a few of them here that I've accumulated over the years. Let's just take a look at an individual card that has a laser type 5 called a 405 card. And before we get into editing it at all, let's just run it and see what it looks like. We can see it has four lines for players here. It's got some areas where we can record the scores. I like a lot of it here. The markers note, it does line up with a perforation, so if you do order the scorecard stock through the IGA, you can set these in your printer to where the perforated marker strip, or tear strip, lines up perfectly for this card, so the person who's keeping the other score can keep their own at the top and then tear it off before handing it in to the committee. So let's say that this card is pretty close to what we want, but just to show you some capabilities or what we have available, let's click the design button down here at the bottom, and it's going to ask us if we'd like to use the selected card as a template, and we do. And then we have to name it something else because we're not going to save over top of this scorecard. We have to, it's kind of a, think of it as a save as. We're creating a new document or a new scorecard. So I'll just call it the video example for today. We'll say OK, and then we're opened up to the designer, and we can start making our adjustments within here. For this event, we don't have any handicap stuff, so I'm going to click that team handicap data field, and once it's selected, hit the delete key. I'm going to do that for the tournament description as well, and the course name as well. I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm just kind of creating some space here so I can make a few changes. I would like to have the official scorecard still on there, but I don't want it stretching from holes 5 through 15. I want to shorten it up a little bit, so I'm going to just drag that with my mouse. I'm going to select the tournament name and do the same. Get that there. And now I've created a little space here, or if I want to insert a logo, I can go up to the top, click logo, bring my mouse back down here, and you'll see I have some crosshairs. Click and hold down and drag, and we're going to drop a box in there. I can click away from it, and you'll still see it's there in a gray outline. And when I click on it, I can go over to the top right here, and you'll see it says logo, and right now it says logo 1. If I click in there, I have a drop down where I have the option of selecting 1, 2, 3, or 4. You can save up to 4 logos on your scorecard designer. I'll select 1. I'm going to say OK. You'll see that the new card is down there at the bottom, titled Video Example. And now we can go ahead and print these. And when you click Print All, what you're doing is you're bringing up the report viewer. You aren't printing them physically yet. You'd have to click the Print button up here to start printing on your computer. Think of it as a print preview. So here we see the changes we've made. We took out a little space there. You can see my logo was set to logo 1. So if I close that and back to the main screen, where that logo is coming from is right here. there's a Set Logo button and a drop down with 4 logos. Right now logo 1 is the Iowa Golf Association. Logo 2 is the Kansas Golf Association. I have the Iowa Masters, and I have Iowa Women's Golf Association logo. And you can change these, but I'd recommend setting your club at 1, and then if you have an outing or a special event that has their own logo, it'd be nice to get it from them. Let's say we wanted to change what logo 2 is. I don't need the Kansas Golf Association logo anymore. So while it's selected, I'm going to clear the logo and then choose Set Logo. And then you're simply navigating out through your computer to find the logo that's saved. And I'm in a folder already that has various logos. Here's the Nebraska Golf Association one. Now I have that as my logo number 2. So if I were to go back into this card, click Edit. I saw it was a little squished, so I'm going to stretch this out a little bit. And then I'm going to change it from logo 1 over here on the right to logo 2. And say OK. Now you can see that the Nebraska Golf Association logo is dropped into there. And I even have enough space where if it was I could slide that over, draw another logo box in there, make that one logo 1, which it already defaulted to, and say OK. And now you can see I have the IGA and NGA logos. Back in there again, editing, continuing to work with it. I'm going to go ahead and delete this line. So over here on the left, I clicked on that, and you can kind of see that the 4th player line is now selected. And if I hit delete with my key, I'm creating a little more space there. And now I'm going to go to the top and choose a text field. Just like we drew our logo box, we can draw a text field, stretch it, and while it's selected, we can go up to the top right, and there's a text static box just to the right of that. Click in there, and then we can type in our message. If I click away from it, I don't want it over there on the left and then that font and size, so if I have it selected here, you can see I have other options here. Here's a font button. Clicking on the area that says the current font, Times New Roman, will give us a browse button. We can click that and change the font and the size. We'll say OK. While it's still selected, we'll go up top here, center it. Getting closer, I'll bump that. So we're getting closer here with our message. I'm going to select it and bump it down 1 to give it a little more space. So now we can see we have our message in there and it's centered. I might say OK to that. Now we can print them. Take a look at this card. So we can see our changes are made. They look pretty good. The logo size is a little off there. I could go in and tweak those a little more to get them proportionate to each other. But we could see the overall idea of the capabilities you have for editing cards. One other thing to note, or a couple more things on the scorecard. If you go to Scorecards, you'll see an import from Gin Server. I've done this recently, so I don't have any scorecards that are currently available. But if you go in there and click Import to Gin Server, it's going to show you any available scorecards that Gin has created and is holding out there for you to receive if you want them. And if you do, just go ahead and select any of the cards that look appealing to you, arrow them over to the selected side and say OK, and they'll be automatically placed into your program for not only use of this event you're working in, but any other events as well. One other note, as you can see, I have a lot of customized scorecards, and these are transferable from computer to computer and program to program. So if you find a scorecard, or a report for that matter, that is very close to what you'd like, but not quite there, talk with us and we can certainly, if not build it for you, maybe have it already in our program. we can email it to you and walk you through a few simple steps that'll allow you to place it right into your tournament pairing program for future use, so you don't have to go through the editing of it. So we're certainly happy to work with you in that. So as we've seen a few of the different options there, this is an individual card we were kind of working with as seen by our player/card. I like the Championship Stroke 405 card for that. That's an automatic card in there. You can change your logo, and it works great for one player, keeping, each player is being issued their own card for an event. But you have different styles of cards. You'll have a scramble card and so forth. Let's go ahead and close this, and we'll just show a few different features in the report side of things. This also has a import from Gin server, and as I click on there, again, this is blank. I periodically check and try to bring over any reports that are available, so I'm not going to have any since the last time I checked. I moved them over. I'm going to go into report menu, and we've seen this in other videos, the look and the feel of it. We're just highlighting a few of the different options you have for editing and customizing cards. So let's go into our players folder for this example and our tournament players. And I see a club and GIN number report. This should be pretty basic. We can see player names, GIN number, and club name. Let's go ahead and run this just to see. We can select what players in our field we want. I have them all over to the selected side right now, so I'll include them all in this report. And you can see I don't have any GIN numbers or club names for the players, and the reason that is because when I imported the information in, I brought in their first name, last name, city, state, zip, and a few other fields, including email and phone, but I did not bring in or add their GIN number and their player club to their personal accounts as I was setting up this event. So as you can see, as I click through the players, whatever data is in each player's account for this event will be available for you in a report. Let's take a look at an address report for a moment. That might be a better example of a report we could slightly change. So I'm going to run this report for all my players. This might be a good document to keep behind the counter, say if you need to get a hold of a player prior to them showing up. So as we can see here, I don't have street addresses. I didn't pull those in, but I do have city and state, and I don't have a zip code. So maybe a more useful one would be to change out the zip code and let's put in their phone number. So I could design this address report, just like we designed our scorecard. I'm going to call this video example as well. And then we can see a similar looking designer as we saw in our scorecard example. For the zip, when I highlight that, you can see that's just a free text box. I can change that up there by typing in phone and clicking away from it. You'll see that the header has changed. But all the fields under here have a DB and then the field after it. So it's a database field. It's drawing off that info. I'm going to click on the database zip, go over to the right, click in the zip, and I don't want the zip code to draw in there. Instead, I want the phone number. And I'm going to stretch it out because I might have some longer phone numbers and might need to give myself a little space there. We saw that the city and states were jammed together when I ran that preview, if you notice it. So I'm going to get rid of this and this and create a little space. And to do so, I'm going to click city, hold shift down and click the database city, and then they move together. And I arrow this as a keyboard it's a little easier to navigate with the arrows than it is by dragging with the mouse and keeping them in line. So again, I'm going to stretch out this database city, giving it plenty of room so the entire city stays on one line. I'll move over the state. And again, I'm going to stretch out this state field as well. And then I'm going to go down here to the bottom and I'm going to delete the footer, the page number, and the current time and date that's automatically in there. And then we have our logo set up. At the top you can see I have my association logo over here in user defined 1. And if I click on this logo, it's user defined 2. And we have a preview report button here. We did not have the preview scorecard feature, but we do in the reporting. So what we can do is click that and run it and take a look at it since our changes. So we can see that I no longer have the cities crunched into 2 lines, and our phone number has taken a change there, so that looks good. It's currently a 3-page document as I scroll through it. When I hit close, it's going to take me back to the designer because I'm just going, before I just click preview. If I want to click save, you'll now see the new report labeled accordingly to how we named it in your tournament players file here. And we could come back in and edit this again if we wanted to, maybe change the logo a little bit or work with it later, or get rid of it altogether by deleting it because it is a customized report, so we can get rid of it. Just like you had the capability of storing logos on the scorecard, you have the capability of storing logos for reports as well, and it works the same way. You can see you have another 4. It's not the same 1 through 4. Logo 2 here is a Hyperion Field Club logo, whereas logo 2 in the scorecards is currently my Nebraska Golf Association logo. Same type of thing though, you can clear the space of logo 2, and we could set it by choosing a different logo stored on your machine or on a flash drive that's plugged into this machine. We'll change it to the Nebraska one. I'll say OK. And because I know this report on the top right is reading logo 2 up there, if I run this report, I should see a Nebraska Golf Association logo up at the top right now, as we do there. So that concludes this video. It's not a complete tutorial. I moved pretty fast through some things. The main thing I wanted to emphasize is that you have a lot of flexibility in editing and customizing scorecards and reports. If you have any questions along the way or would like assistance, please feel free to contact the IGA. We'll be happy to work with you, get a card designed for you, and get it out to you so it's in your tournament pairing program for future use. So thanks for watching. Like I said, if you have any questions, always feel free to call the IGA.